So, welcome to Vlog 1, my take on Thai life, living in Thailand. So, I'm going to talk about, in this first vlog, January the 1st to the 7th. Well, January the 1st arrived much like any other day, and certainly for me there was no celebrations the night before as such. In fact, I was tucked up in bed at 10 o'clock. So anyway, the talk of the week, and in fact the four or 5 days before the new year, it was all about what wreckage would we see on the roads. And here they have keep account of the number of deaths on the roads caused in this holiday period. I'm not quite sure how many it was because I haven't done my homework, but nevertheless it was significant, and most of it was as a result of speeding or driving under the influence. They really do know how to have fun here. Okay, we did see some TV footage of victims or the injured in hospitals receiving treatment for serious injuries as a result of accidents. This was designed to try and put people off driving like absolute lunatics, but clearly it had little effect. Now, New Year, it's the time for resolutions, and I'm sure you're dying to hear mine. Well, I decided, in view of the expanding waistline, that I was going to tackle it on 4 fronts. First, exercise, minimum twice a week, down to the local park, and 30 minutes walking. Okay. So far so good. I achieved that in week 1. The second was nuts. Going to restrict my consumption of nuts, peanuts, you name them, whatever sort of nuts turn you on. And I was going to keep that down to 4 days a week. And I succeeded in that in the first week. I didn't do so well on number 3. Number 3 was my passion for chocolate, which had become daily. I set a target of twice a week. Unfortunately, between the 1st and 7th, I had 3 bars. So, naughty John. And the other main one was to try and cut out a full meal at dinner time. Well, it started off quite well, but I'm afraid it's rather been on the slide, and I will need to get stock of that. Now, to assist in these perilous times of overweight, such that my shorts for walking are now too tight, and the new ones, of course, are about 4 inches too big, so I have to sort of perform some conundrum to avoid them falling down by my ankles. I've been tackling English style salads with salad cream, low fat of course, and honey. It has been an absolute delight. I love it, and I will continue to eat that. Little chance of me tucking into prawns. The price in the market now is roughly 250 baht a kilo, and I can remember about 3 years ago buying it for 80 baht a kilo. Throughout the early part of the week, it was hard work trying to find an eating place open for lunch. This is one of the great advantages of the new year. Nowhere's open. Okay, now let's move on a little bit. Benji is very much the star when we go to the Nantucket Lake, and it attracts all sorts to us. Health. Well, I've had a spout of problems with piles, as you know, and toothache. They've been relatively under control recently, but I did have a problem with muscle spasm in the groin, and that has started to improve, and the last few days it hasn't caused any pain. Previous to this, I was bent up double and had to retreat to my bed and lie down until the muscle extended out and popped. You could actually feel the pop. So maybe starting to take the muscle drugs that I bought previously and had stopped for a couple of months, maybe that's helping. What other news have we got to talk about? On the technology front, I managed to get Instagram up and running, did a post and a video post. I also managed to get my head round editing. I edited a brief goal scoring exploit by young Matter to add to my monologue. I didn't keep it, but I actually was able to go about it with some success. Of course, it's been a glutton for Premier League football and the FA Cup over the holiday period, so I've been busily, frantically trying to keep up to date with the Premier League videos, and I posted the last one yesterday. There's been some great stuff, great matches, and thank goodness the Premier League isn't asleep like the rest of Europe. Went back to work, school, and a couple of things really. With the teenage class, I'm continuing to focus on the reality of going to university, and is it what the student wants to do, or is it pampering to mother and father's desires? So I've been making them all aware of that, and I've set individual plans for them to look at the job of choice and work out the strengths and weaknesses, the advantages and disadvantages, and trying to get a more realistic picture in their heads about whether this is a realistic way forward, particularly in view of the cost. What other stuff to report? Well, TV here in Thailand is dreadful, and I'm amazed at how much trivia continues to be on the TV here. We have programs that discuss the best eating places from around the country, and it's regarded as a travel program. But all we'd seem to do is get people to sample food and say how great it is. And this is at prime time breakfast TV, whoopee. And of course the shopping is constant, and everything is only 50 baht. So that's been driving me crazy. So I, as always, am in the computer room. I've seen two great serials of late. The first, Genius, which was a serial, 9-part drama serial about the life of Albert Einstein, with us seeing him as a young man and as an older man. As an older man, he's played by Geoffrey Rush, who's absolutely superb. Another series that I did enjoy was A Chance, season 1. This is Hugh Laurie's take on being a psychiatrist, and one of his patients he gets a crush on, and she's being physically and emotionally abused by a policeman, That was quite gripping. And I saw a rather interesting movie called The Killing of the Sacred Deer, which was released in 2017 and stars Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman. It's set in the future, and Farrell is a cardiologist, and as a result of him turning up for work slightly under the influence, a patient dies, and the son of that deceased man comes back to haunt Farrell and his family and puts a curse on them, and it's quite gripping. It is, of course, complete fantasy, but nevertheless it's quite a good movie, and it's directed by the same person that did the movie a couple of years ago, which was about I've forgotten the name of it. Never mind. What else have we got? Yeah, I ran into my colleague Pam. She came into the school. This girl is 29 years of age. She comes from Cameroon, and she's working in a primary school here, and she is absolutely tremendous. What a beautiful woman. Anyway, she's fairly lonely at present, and so we got into a good chat, and it was quite hilarious, tongue-in-cheek, but there was an air of attraction, possibly both ways, so maybe something might happen there in the new year. And I must end on a rather depressing note. That is the announcement by the Trump administration that the military budget for the next year has increased to $80 billion. Now, this amount is equivalent, in fact more than, the next 7 military budgets of the next 7 countries who allocate government funds to their military. So let's get that right. The US budget is more than all the 7 countries put together. So what's the message to the world there? Well, it's a message that we are bullies, and Trump, in charge, of course, is carrying that out on a daily schedule, trying to intimidate people with regard to the Russian scandal, trying to get Mueller to kowtow to his options, and basically I want everyone at all times to constantly try to undermine this administration. Okay, I think that's about it. So we're coming up to 14 minutes, and I'll be back next week.